Shine the light in the dark to make everything connect. Pay attention to the voice. Sowore is the choice. He is the man, he is the one. Make nobody come to make noise. Get the ability to change our society, to bring the security, for proper accountability. We need to change the level. Shebi, we need to grow. We need to Sowore. Make poverty come out. Sowore, 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 Sowore. Oh yeah, come and take it back. Oh, Sowore. Oh yeah, take it back for Nigeria. Sowore, 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 Sowore. Oh yeah, come and take it back. Oh, Sowore. Oh yeah, take it back for Nigeria. Sowore. Allah ya idare, to gagari ya waye. Godiya ga Allah, Allah ga tambawa.
Great Nigerian students, I started my political career over 30 years ago as a student activist at the University of Lagos. I continue to have great passion and concern for you, the youth of our country. Many of you have been at home because of ASU strike that was recently suspended. No nation should tolerate the callous closure of universities for months. My party, the African Action Congress, is committed to Nigeria's young people. We will increase funding for education, we'll create stipends for students, and boost employment opportunities for graduates. For those of you who will be embarking on National Youth Service, we are committed to paying a living wage of 100,000 naira per month to youth corpers. The future of Nigeria is in your hands. Don't let it go. Aluta continua, Victoria Asata.
I do not need to have been in public office, but here is what I want to tell you about my experience. Every time it was necessary to find somebody to fight for the progress of this country when we needed democracy, as a student activist, I was there. Laid my life, on the ground for whatever could happen. And in 1999, that democracy came about. When there was a time in this country that everybody said if Obasanjo didn't become the president the third time, this country will not make progress. I was one of the few people who stood up and said, third time is unacceptable because we can't afford a Mugabe in this country. When President Yar'Adua was sick and was dying and there was a cabal around him that prevented a minority from becoming president, and all of the political leaders, including judges in this country, including parliamentarians, the Senate, the House of Representatives, even a young person at that time who was Speaker, Bankole, sided against Jonathan becoming president. I used Sahara Reporter to expose the fact that Jonathan was brain dead and Nigeria needed to prepare for it. Not even the Niger Delta militants could do it, even though they said he was their man at that time. We're talking about character here, we're talking about courage that could take countries to bigger levels. And I'll give you two more examples of countries that had people of my pedigree. I'm not as big as they are. Mandela came directly from prison. Which local government did he govern before he became the president of South Africa? The most stabilizing force in the history of that country. Obama was regarded as a community organizer. Somebody might say he was a senator, but it was just for 6 months. But he was known as a community organizer and derided for it. He stabilized America's economy for 8 years that he was in America. He's described as America's best president because it wasn't because he was a former senator, but because he was a man of character, intellect, capacity. And that is the mistake we must not make.
Take it back, action!
Sowore we know. 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 Limpi my ways I feel. Yeah. No matter how things are from, I know say we go still make them. No matter how things are from, I know say we go still do more. Make me take it back a little.
Yeah, having watched that video now, you find out that lots of Nigerians are really tired of these same political parties. But the reason why many of them cannot cheat back or cannot totally withdraw is because of the stolen stipends that these persons are sharing to the citizens just to make sure they win the 2019 presidential election and all other elections. You know, like the usual ways of these old corrupt politicians and these old people who have been in government for a long time, their way is to always continually rig the elections, which have always been their trademark, whether it be the APC or the PDP. So many of us should think twice and know that these two political parties, the APC is Buhari and the PDP Atiku, they will not take Nigerians anywhere. They will rather bring more hardship to the country. If you are running from Buhari and you say Atiku is an option, you are going deeper into another very ugly and dirty waters. So there is no need for us to think. We have to think outside the box of these two political parties and realize that they cannot take us anywhere. You can also see one of the rallies also where Tinubu have to throw away the flag of the APC. It shows that it's a party that is not so organized. The PDP is not organized, the APC is not organized. When you look at their political campaigns or their presidential campaigns so far, they just go down to the podium. Like for PDP, they brought Davido who was singing and people were dancing. Is that the ideology of a true political party? Is that the ideology that a true political party needs to bring down to its people? But no, they are busy dancing because dancing has been their trademark. Also look at the one of the APC, same thing with them. You just go to the podium, you start dancing and start doing all sort of things. And at the end of the day, you realize that many of these things do not really work in a country that needs better life, a country that needs better education, a country that needs good electricity, a country that needs efficient transport system. Not like the train that they brought just a month ago or so. That is a train that she was talking about, a train that will be moving from Lagos to Ibadan. They said that train will be running it free of charge for now, between now and maybe 3 months or so. Why are they bringing such things now? Because they believe that Nigerians adapt. They believe that most of the youth are even worse, that they cannot even think of making the right decisions. They believe that making decisions has been problem of most of the youth and most Nigerians. So you can see, how can you bring such a train that so many countries have thrown away over the years? So many countries don't even use that. You go outside, you travel out to developed societies. Many of these governors travel, many of these senators travel, many of these presidents they travel. When you go out there, you see lots of things. You don't see that kind of train system or that kind of transport system running out there. No, but you travel and see those things. You come back and bring outdated train for people to sit on. Train that are still using locomotive to move. It's a shame that our leaders, they are not ready to learn. They are not ready to change from their old criminal ways of running things in Nigeria. Buhari, you have tried, you came to power in 2015. You have been there before at a very early age. Please, 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 please. It's only a greedy politician that will not allow power to slip off his hand. Even at this point where people are crying, where lots of people are crying. I still want to beg you, then look at the one of Atiku. You have been in the custom service. You've taken lots of Nigerian resources. You have personality to yourself. You've been vice president for 8 years.
Sowore we know. Sowore we know. Sowore we know. Sowore we know. Him be my ways appeal. Yeah. No matter how things are from, I know say we go still make them. No matter how things are from, I know say we go still do a more. Make me take it back a little, yeah. Make me follow the right way. Come revive our economy. Pursue all the bad people, they not try. Yeah. We need person where sabi. We need person where they hear well. Person where sabi speaking grammar. Person where go represent well.
Sold most of those things to your friends and cronies. You sold the PHCN, you sold many other things to your friends and your people and to yourself, personally. Now you are coming again, you want to sell NPC to your own self and to your friends and family. It's a shame that we the youth who do not think. We don't have that thinking mindset to realize that these things have to stop. We don't have that decision-making attitude to say that this thing must stop this time around. These persons have used us enough over the years. There is need for us to change the status quo and go over to another side. Is it a crime to cross over to a new generation of leaders? Is it a crime to begin to choose new generation of people with new ideas, new brains, and new things to come, new things to be able to develop a country with enormous resources such as Nigeria? No, it's not a crime, but many of you will not see that. Rather, you see down on your social media page or whatever page and start insulting younger presidential aspirants who have brought themselves forward to serve the nation. You ask them to go and serve from councillor, you ask them to go and serve from local government chairman, you have to go and serve from. That is the problem our country has. When many of us you start from there, you start learning how to steal. Then after stealing from those after, you are now like a professional thief, which is what many of them have done. They have become professional thieves because it started from the very lower positions, and now they have now become international thieves, where they can now know how to steal this money without many of you realizing that the nation is being plunged into more problem. I want to please beg every one of you. February 16 is just around the corner. The presidential election is just around the corner, and all other elections. There's need for you to think very wisely. The senators who are not helping us, there's need for us to also send them packing and bring in fresh people to come down to Senate. Senate is not a retirement grant for any Dick and Harry to just come in. You see many of these past governors who are failed woefully in their state, the next thing they do is to go back to the Senate and begin to sit and collect millions of naira. It's not like a tradition. It's not like a great thing for all of them. So Senate has become a place where garbages are being kept. Even the House of Rep become a place where garbages are being kept. They no longer have anything meaningful to affect the life of an ordinary Nigerian or those people who are sent them to represent them. I want you to think twice. Think twice again. I'll be back shortly while we continue. Remember, no going back to Egypt.
No matter how things are from, I know so we go stick to our more. Make me take it back a little lower. Make me follow the right way. Come revive our economy. For sure, the bad people, they not try. We need perseverance. We need perseverance.
Don't think about these two political parties. They can't do anything for you. It's better we send Atiku and Buhari packing. Don't sell your vote because of that Gary that they want to give to you. Women, don't sell your vote because of that rapper of how much they want to give to you. You don't sell your vote because of 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000, 10,000, whatever amount they want to give to you. And don't allow any other you to also deceive you because you have also, maybe they have given you 500,000 or 1 million naira to mobilize you to vote for them. Don't allow them deceive you. Remember, this time around is good. Youth you are supposed to be taking down youths because youths are also another problem in our country. So many youths are against the progress of that country. They are working with these old politicians to ensure that Nigeria does not see the light of a better nation. So there's need for some youths to be shut up at this present stage in time. Any youth that comes out and sing the praise of Buhari, sing the praise of Atiku, is not worthy to be part of the youth. Is not worthy to be called a true Nigerian. Such should be sent away and should be chased out of that scenario, because those are the persons that are making people to feel pains today. So I want to beg you, forget about what they are bringing today, the train, the fake train, the useless buses they are bringing that they want to borrow loans to buy, the cars they are parading around. Don't vote any of them in. Don't vote them in. They are there again. They have come again with their tricks and everything. After the election, bye-bye to you. You see them in Abuja. They'll be going to Abuja to relax. You see them going to all places. So please vote Omoyele Sowore for President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, AAC. Vote AAC candidates that you see they are credible. Then vote younger candidates that you know they can deliver. And forget about these old persons in power. I want to beg you once more. Remember, it's another 4 years. You have this time now to change your destiny. Don't waste this other 4 years for these persons. Don't cry again after these 4 years. Please, vote wisely. Thank you very much.
For the president, follow the leader, when they do bang bang, find president, we stand with the God, you see him, you go bang, take it back, say Bobo, say Bobo, take it back, say Bobo, say Bobo, take it it back, take it back. Take it back, take it back.
To provide good schools, to provide good health care, good roads, electricity, and people like me. I shall say I take style senior you. No, but you are only I senior you and go sit down. I senior and well. So people like me, don't worry, that one to my friend. Fresh president and my friend. I senior. Well, senior. People like me should start to advise and tell people like him, say, come on, live up to your promise. Do like this, so this country needs this. Do this now. Every corner of this country, all the roads must be fixed. Everywhere. We need at least a minimum of 5 great hospitals in the 4 corners of this country. One in Maiduguri, one in Sokoto, one in Lagos, one in Port Harcourt, one in Abuja. Yes, one. So in every corner you must be able to reach the best healthcare in the world. All federal, state polytechnics and universities must be of international standard. Nothing less. Anything less is a failure. No excuses. A government that will not give you excuses. A government that is ready to work immediately empowered. A man that is ready to go to the 4 corners of this country. Not that will be struggling. Yeah, I don't tire. Hospital today, hospital tomorrow. No! Do you see me? I don't know, sir, I don't tire. Slowly but surely, I don't leave the state from my picking. Because whether I like that, maximum 10 years. People say I don't tire, make a no lie. Make a job like this 3 hours every day. Wait till happen. At the grace. Make this a begin job, make a relax. Even the jump, my shocking not the wait again because I jumped too much. So no. Once. Look, I told you, this is the time to plan. I know they will fail. They're a bunch of failures. That's right. But the youth must be ready that the next time, what is called a landslide. Every corner, all the young people must wake up. Everybody must be accountable in this country. Everybody, we want to know, nobody must steal again in this country. Everybody must have equal opportunity to be successful. One man's success is everybody's success. Any government that does not perform like that is a failure. So this is the kind of thing I will talk to my brother. And I'm sure he has come here so many times. I believe the music and the spirituality and the environment brings him to understand. He must be inspired.
man for the people. Sowore for the president. Follow the leader. When they do bang bang. Confirm president we stand with the God. You see him, you go confirm. Take it back, say Bobo. You don't know, say Bobo. Take it back, say Bobo. Say Bobo. Take it back, say Bobo.
Mami, Adi, we are tired. We want this man to be a president of Nigeria. We are tired of Obasanjo. We are tired of Buhari. We are tired of all of them. We are tired of Edo. We are tired of Obasanjo. We are tired of Buhari. We are tired of Tinubu. We are tired of Atiku. We are tired of all of them. Hey, we want this man to be a president of Nigeria. This is the first president that come and campaign in South Africa as a whole.
Yes.
We are tired.
Omoyele, Sowore, we have to take it back. We have to take it back. Omoyele, Sowore for president.
I'm not scared. I'm in Nigeria. I don't want Buhari to be a president of Nigeria. We are tired of Buhari, we are tired of Jonathan, we are tired of Tinubu, we are tired of all of you guys. We want a youth president. Please, our president. No, we're not on anyone. In South Africa, we just want to see our president. Let's because of time. Time is very important. Let's work. Let's work. Let's work. Because of time.
It's a new beginning, expecting nothing less. The people are singing, so we're the number one, the number one, so we're the people's choice. Nine they want to sing. As we they singing this song, make you just sing along. Hallelujah, make you go bring your baby.
Omoyele Sowore is a Nigerian citizen journalist who has a history of openly opposing his country's government. So much so that he says he's been detained several times and endured many police beatings. Now a world away in New York City, Sowore uses the internet to continue writing about corruption in his country's politics. Adeola Oladele met up with Sowore and filed this report.
There's a place on the internet where anyone can read about the good, the bad, and the ugly in Nigerian politics. SaharaReporters.com was created by Omoyele Sowore, a self-trained citizen journalist. Although he's a Nigerian citizen, he says his country considers him persona non grata.
The government doesn't recognize that I have enough rights to travel into Nigeria like every regular Nigerian because I dared to be different from everybody.
To him, being different means writing to expose corruption and injustices in his country. Omoyele says his website gets more than 1 million page views every month. Some of the stories receive more than 100 comments.
But the reason why the word Sahara came was for a few reasons. One, because I'm fascinated by geographical features, being a geography graduate myself. And secondly, I just looked at it and said, since I'm not a journalist, I'm just like a practitioner of this trade inside the desert where there's really not much hope for success. But I'm going to do it regardless, which means that I'm taking on a challenge that I have no idea how far it will go.
Taking up a challenge is not a new thing for the 38-year-old. He was the president of the student union while a student at Lagos State University in Nigeria. During his tenure, he led thousands of students in rallies against military rule and injustices.
This powerful group will also march along with them.
I had suffered immense torture as a student activist who had protested against the military. I haven't been detained, beaten up by the police and the military.
In 1999, he found a way to fly to the US. Then he went on to get a degree in International and Public Affairs at Columbia University. In 2005, he launched SaharaReporters.com. He also posts the articles on Facebook and Twitter.
Yes, man. How are you? I was trying to check up on a particular record of an individual who probably had a rape case over there.
You know, what I just did was to invite all my friends and say, do you have any news? Do you have any information about what's going on in Nigeria? And they say, how do we write it? They said, send me a text message or talk to me on the phone, and I'll sit down and write stories. Then look for some other friends and say, can you edit this story for me, you know?
Omoyele soon faced the challenges of being a publisher. In 2008, he wrote an article that questions the tie between the Nigerian Attorney General and a Nigerian lawyer, Paul Ohi. Ohi sued him for libel and $25 million. That case was later dismissed. And that's not all.
I've had to give up more of my freedom in terms of being able to go to Nigeria. Even in terms of being able to move freely around, because as some of these reports became more powerful, challenges the status quo, and there's been a lot of threats.
His major challenge now is having enough financial support for the website. However, he says he'll find a way to continue because of what he believes.
If you solve Nigeria's problem, myriads of political, social, and cultural problems, it will just infect the rest of Africa almost instantly. And this is what I think the rest of the world doesn't understand about Nigeria.
In other words, as Nigeria goes, so goes the rest of Africa. For independence of
7, 6, 5, 4, 3.
Thank you so much, Overg. Now, he came into national prominence when he led a nationwide protest against the menace of secret cults on campuses this around the country back in 1992. His hard work in engaging Nigerians and building consensus grew into a formidable national political consciousness in 1993 when he, along with notable leaders such as the late Chief Gani Faweini, of course the late Chima Ubamino, amongst the others, engaged in protests to restore democracy in Nigeria's country. Well, these relentless struggles led to restoration of democracy in 1999, and he is the youngest candidate in the Nigerian presidential elections. We of course joined in studio by Mr. Omoyele Sowore, and of course our seasoned journalist Ken Mabani joins us into this conversation. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us. Welcome.
Thank you for bringing me to the show.
Thanks so much. It's kind of always a pleasure having you as always. We're going to start with you, Mr. Sowore. We're going to start with, of course, your manifesto for the country. You are the youngest presidential candidate right now in Nigeria. We've seen this, of course, with South Africa's Julius Malema. We've also seen with Nelson Chamisa in Zimbabwe of the NDC. What are you bringing to the table that has never been seen before in Nigeria?
There's fresh blood, there's fresh ideas, and also a revolutionary spirit, stamina, intellect, and a focus on will that's never been seen before. Nigeria has been independent for 58 years, and most of that time Nigeria has been ruled by the military, in the last 19 years, it'll be 20 years next year, that we came into some form of democracy. But that democracy has not benefited the people of Nigeria.
Right.
And now those of us who fought for this democracy are stepping forward and stepping onto the plate to say, look, we have to take our destiny in our hands and take our countries from the woods onto the path of prosperity and progress. That is where we are now. It's very clear by our manifestos, by engagement and interaction, even the practice of retail politics that we've started, that nothing like this has ever happened to Nigeria. I should correct though, that I don't think I'm the youngest presidential aspirant. Right now, there's a lot of young people who are aspiring. Because it's the law that was recently passed, not too young to run, that enabled more young people to aspire to be president of Nigeria. But clearly, amongst all of these aspirants and those of the oldies, the old guys that we're trying to defeat, our campaign has been the sharpest.
Now, what do you make, of course, of this emergence of young African leaders taken to, politics? We, of course, mentioned Julius Malema before of the EFF and Nelson Chamisa of the MDC in Zimbabwe, and it seems that they are coming out and sprouting out, of course, in taking matters into their own hands in as far as moving the continent forward.
Absolutely. I think that it's important that we do have young leadership coming out, and I do think that Africa is poised right now more than ever, to listen to the voices of young people, because a lot of the leaders that are in place right now, people have been there for 20, 30, 40 years. And so there is an overwhelming movement within the African continent to bring in new blood, to bring in the next generation, because that's how politics work. Leaders groom younger leaders and they put them forward, and I think that it's very interesting what Mr. Sowore is saying just in terms of young leadership. But if you would allow me, I would like to just zone in on a few of your election manifestos that you've spoken about. You've spoken very at length about issues of security, number one. Taken time to watch some of your videos that you've done with other interviewers around Nigeria, and you really hit hard at the current president, Muhammadu Buhari, on his lack of decisive leadership when it comes to terrorism in Nigeria. Why do you think that President Buhari has yet to deal with Boko Haram effectively?
Because President Buhari absolutely does not understand what it takes. He doesn't have the energy to do what needs to be done. He's part of the old generation of army generals that put Nigeria in the condition in which it is today. And these people are still using old equipment. They have what I call analog mentality, whereas the world has moved into a digital era. And as a matter of fact, we have reached a point of artificial intelligence now that things that have been done in those old ways cannot solve modern problems in Nigeria. Nigeria's got 198 million people. 70% of those people are young people. You cannot be fighting for Nigeria or moving Nigeria in a way it was done in 1983 when President Buhari was there. In 1983, I was in high school, year 2. And this is 2018. I'm 47 years old, and the same man who is running my country is the same guy who ran the country when we are using tractors. And now people are using, drones to do things. So you cannot have that kind of a person get rid of Boko Haram. Boko Haram needs zeal, they need energy, they need equipment, they need intelligence that is modern, they need an understanding of how terrorism is working around globally.
And how will you provide those solutions? Because you did mention the total number of population of 98 million. And I mean, Boko Haram has been one extremist group that has been terrorizing Nigeria. So how are you, of course, coming to bring that peace to the country?
That's exactly what I'm telling you, is that the army generals who are fighting Boko Haram are the same guys who couldn't fight in the past. So and then you have the part of the corrupt army, army setup or security apparatus in the country. And when Buhari came into office, they found money hidden by these former generals and under their bed and sinks above the, in the houses, some of them over the roofs. Because they were more interested in stealing than fighting Boko Haram. You wonder where does Boko Haram find weapons and Nigerian army can't find weapons to fight back against them. Because they are all old, they don't know how to fight modern wars. And most importantly, they are corrupt army generals. And these are the same people that President Buhari has been working with
since he was enlisted into the Nigerian military. So, and people don't trust him enough to even offer the kind of assistance that could help the people. When they do trust him, he put people from his village, people who were his friends in the 70s, are the people running the army of 2018. He has members of his family. He's running one of the most nepotistic regimes in Nigeria's history. These people can't fight Nigeria's problem. They can't solve the problem because they are the problem of Nigeria.
And you are presenting yourself now as a solution. So I need to bring you now and ask you about what is the first priority that you, of course, have
security is number
solving
one.
These issues?
Yes, security is number one because until we secure the nation, people are getting killed in their farms. Boko Haram is waxing stronger. Children are getting kidnapped from their schools. And then number two, power, electricity. If you compare what you guys have in South Africa in terms of output of electricity to what Nigeria had, we're about we're almost 90% less than what you have. And that's a country of 198 million people that needs to have electricity of about 60,000 megawatts of electricity. We have 7,000 and we're struggling to transmit 3,000. That is not enough to even run your train stations here, or maybe your airport. And nobody's doing anything about it because they don't know what to do. They are more interested in stealing, and when they can't steal, they stop the progress of the country.
All right, then let me bring you in, Kenya, of course, and I want to talk more about, because we've seen also, the presence of, international and sort of external observers when we have elections. We've seen this in Zimbabwe, in other parts of the continent, but as South African, of course, and a journalist, what from the outside do you see some of the challenges in Nigeria that absolutely need prioritization, and as far as the African perspective is concerned?
Well, just last month, President Cyril Ramaphosa held a visit to Nigeria, and he met with his counterpart, Muhammadu Buhari, and they spoke of issues of the economy, they spoke of issues of international trade, and actually South Africa is nudging Nigeria to sign the free trade agreement. So definitely we are seeing that these are two strong powerhouses, South Africa and Nigeria. And I think where Nigeria is right now and where it has potential to grow to, obviously, is the top, economy. And it has done that. It has proven that it can take South Africa on, it can take Egypt on, which are some of the powerhouses. However, it has a lot of structural problems within the country, and you've said, Mr. Sowore, that you want to increase from 7,000 megawatts to 2,000 megawatts within the first 4 years. You want to double the roadways in Nigeria from
24,000 megawatts. 24 gigawatts.
So 202 kilometers to over 400 kilometers of new roads. You're selling us a good deal. You're selling Nigerians a good deal. Which is what any presidential election candidate would do. But how do you start to position Nigeria, for instance, looking at South Africa? How would you start by improving relations between South Africa and Nigeria? How would you improve trade? As we see currently, South Africa exports 6.4 billion rands, but Nigeria imports 30.4 billion rand into South Africa. So how would you then take that to the next level?
So let me tell you, we are your big brothers. Not only to South Africa, Nigeria should be the big brother to the entire African continent. And Africa recognizes that. And what I say to people about Nigeria is not just about reducing our relationship to trade, is that the humanity of Africans must be taken by Nigeria to the next level. That is to say, it's not just that, you shouldn't think about this about imports and exports alone. You talk about the humanity that combine and connect the whole of us, or how we can position Africa to be a major player within the international trade system. So that Africa is not just a mining site where people come in, mine, and leave it in ruins. But Africa is such a place that Nigeria can play that role of connecting and integrating Africa. Without that integration, we cannot be a big continent that's playing a role in international markets, where we're selling things. What is happening to Africa right now is that whatever we produce, the price is determined by the people who are buying it from us. When they process, they determine the price at which we are buying it from them. Africa must produce or perish. That's the problem. And Nigeria should lead that. And that's where South Africa will come in. It's not about South Africa alone, it's about Sudan, it's about the Congo, it's about all of Africa. And that's where we're important. It's the reason why the entire African continent must look up to what is happening to Nigeria next year.
because that's where lies our progress for the continent.
So we've run out of time, unfortunately. Unfortunately, we've run out of time, but I need to know about the Takeitback movement that I said is taking place, briefly, please.
Yes, Takeitback movement is a movement we created in Nigeria to galvanize young people, old people, those, what we call it the Zone 7, because there are 6 geopolitical zones in Nigeria. This is zone of the abandoned, those who have been decimated, destroyed over these years, those who have been disenchanted, and those who have been disenfranchised, to come together and rescue the country and take power from an old, ragged, corrupt cabal in the country that has been dragging Nigeria back. That is what the Takeitback movement is. It comprises of students, women, it comprises of the diaspora in particular. And I must say this, important for us, that South Africa has a duty to treat our brothers right over here. There's been a lot of killings on the street carried out by the police or non-state actors. Please start to give us respect, give respect to your brothers here. As soon as we come in, we'll resolve that. But Takeitback movement is also having a meeting here in Pretoria on Sunday. We invite all of you to, I think, Pretoria Theatre. We'll provide more of that information. And you can follow us on social media, Sowore,
more information.
And Takeitback.
Thank you so much.
It's a hashtag.
Thank you so much, Mr. Sowore, for joining us. Thank you for your time. Really appreciate it. That's all the time that we had. Of course, watch
Say Bobo, not him we want for the show. For the man then bring it. Sowore, for the banger. Sowore, it's a man for the people. Sowore for the president. Sowore, follow the leader. Sowore, when they do bang bang. Sowore, I'm fine president we stand with the right. You see me go bang. Sowore, take it back. Say Bobo, say Bobo, take it back. Say Bobo, say Bobo, take it back. Say Bobo. Take it back.
So we went to Adamawa State and arrived at Yola. And as soon as we arrived at Yola, one of the organizers said, how about we go see an internally displaced persons camp? So we started driving, and it reminded me of when I was in the NYC in Yola. So in Yola, Adamawa State, this used to be my area of national service. Still a very lovely, cool place. So we drove past the NYC camp, I think, and then we drove to the left. It's block of classrooms, very unkept, and it was raining, and we met the officials in this office that they use. And we had to go see refugees in their own land, the people who had been displaced from their homelands by Boko Haram and had not been able to go home. It was heartbreaking, I should say, and I use this word a lot, but the more I see Nigeria these days, the more I understand that there was a deliberate policy to destroy and break the Nigerian spirit. Victims of war and conflict. So a lot of these Nigerians who were displaced in their homelands, and we had to tell them that come next year, this kind of internal displacement will be allowed to them. There are about 1,800 refugees in this camp. Met a woman who's been there since 2015. Sad, very sad. They haven't gone back to
free now?
He's free, but my challenge is that I don't have shelter to live. If I go back, I don't like to hang myself.
So I can't wait to see you back home. And I mean it. I am not just a politician. I'm not a politician who come and make promise here. I'm not a politician. I come here as somebody who is heartbroken. I just hope I've been able to give you good enough assurance don't let anybody deceive you that the next Messiah must be Hausa man. Or that it must be a Yoruba man. Or that it must be an Ijaw man. The next person who wants to help you is somebody who feels your pain. So I grew up in a village, and growing up in a village means that you grow up with people who had been through disadvantages in life. Some are just victims of malnutrition, and so that is the way I see when I see other kids who should be like me who are not. I feel bad almost immediately, and it's worse when you're standing in front of women who tell you that they're widows, that their husband has been killed by Boko Haram, and they experience the killings. I remember actually doing a story once about Boko Haram, and there was a woman who had just had a baby, and their village was attacked. And she said she did not realize her baby had fallen off her back as they were trying to escape from Boko Haram. And another part for me is because I come from a place of disadvantage, I always feel like this could be me. This could be me. This could be me in a refugee camp. I know how that feels, because I've been through some of those situations before where I feel completely helpless, and I'm always trying to figure out how I would feel if I was in their shoes and how I felt when I was in those situations. So it's immediate. I can just plug myself in there, in their place, and that is why you see that very quickly on my face. When I get heartbroken, you can see it reflected. So I come here today to greet you once again. And to give you assurance that help is on its way. When I say it, I mean it, that the first thing I will do is to ensure that everybody that is displaced from their homes in the northeast, in this Adamawa, in Borno, in Yobe, will have a chance to go back to their homeland.